Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve and welcome to Second Chance Transplant Living. Now this video is if you're on the transplant list and you're wondering what to pack for the hospital. This will cover kind of the basics of that, and it's very, very daunting when they tell you to pack for the hospital and you don't know what's going on. So let's start with just the basics. You're going to have your insurance card, your IDs, anything, medication list, all those kinds of things that the doctor would have. Since they've been, you're in their care for quite a bit of time. If you've been on, for a while, they should have your list, but just to be safe. And, they'll update that list after transplant, because they're going to have to juggle some medications around, I'm sure, but you still need the list that you're taking before surgery and, that you can get to them, that kind of thing. You want to make sure that you pack some stuff that you're comfortable with. If you can, they allow you to, pack a pillow from home that might give you some comfort. Pack a blanket, something that you snuggle with, that, that you're not, that you have some comfort level with. If it's allowed. Now, some hospitals, it may not be allowed, but, if it's allowed, that's something that I would do. You want to make sure that you pack your stuff that you're going to feel human with, your toiletries, your toothpaste, anything that you have to have that's essentially for you to make you feel human. Those are definitely things that would be an essential for you to pack. You may want to make sure that you have anything that would help aid in your sleep and support. If you are, you need a mask when you sleep, anything like that. If you're bothered by light, make sure you pack your sleep mask, those kinds of things. Also, for any kind of mental and emotional support, if you need your Bible, pack it. If that's an essential part of your emotional or your daily routine, then pack it. And if there's anything else that you need in that realm, pack your journal or a notebook so that you can actually ask your doctor questions. You're going to forget things, be in a foggy haze, and you'll remember something after the doctor goes out. And if you don't write it down or have your caregiver to write it down, you're going to forget that when it comes back around, when he comes back around, and it may go unanswered. You may have to, after you leave, you may have to ask that question. I know I did. Even though I did pack those, I would forget to get my notebook out when the doctor came in. So, and now I had a little bit of an excuse. My caregiver didn't stay in the hospital with me a lot. So, that was one of mine. I was on my own, kind of trying to remember all those things that, during the day that he wasn't there, that to ask, things that you don't bring. Do not bring any kind of valuables, watch or your wallet, anything like that, or money, don't bring that kind of stuff. Unless your caregiver's there but those things get misplaced, even with a caregiver there. So, it's better off not to bring it if you don't need it. They can stay at home or somewhere, with someone else, that they just don't need to be at the hospital. But what you do, the other things that you do want to pack is you want to pack loose clothing. And you also want to make sure even though it's loose clothing, you want to make sure that it is something that you're not going to be afraid of getting wet. You know, your clothing, you're not going to wear it a lot, but you will, you know, when you go down the halls and you're walking, which you will do a lot of, believe it or not. You know, 2 or 3 days after surgery, you're going to be walking the halls 2 or 3 times a day at least. They want you to walk certain milestones, you know, in your journey. They won't push you, but they do encourage you to do those things. And you want to make sure you have loose clothing on. But as far as making sure that you don't care it gets dirty, it's because of the liquids and stuff that might be coming out after surgery. I know that I was so bad with the ascites that my bed had to be changed, you know, 4 or 5 times a day. That's how much liquid was coming out of me. So needless to say, I did not hardly use any of my clothing at the hospital. They actually had to put extra stitches in my side, and still the liquid would still come out. That was after they took the tube out, and the liquid just flowed, and like there was nothing there. And I ended up having to put extra pads on, and they would still get soaked. So you want to make sure that the clothing that you do have, you're not worried about it being ruined in any way, shape, or form. And then, you know, if you want to make sure that you also bring, if you have a phone, if you have a ritual of, you know, download any books that you want to listen to, any kind of podcast, anything to where you do not have to watch the TV. You know, if you're not somebody that watches TV, get yourself other things that can occupy your time in there, because there is a lot of downtime, you know, between medications. Also, bring snacks, because you're on a very restrictive diet, and so you eat good if you can, but you also are on a very restrictive diet. So if there's something that comforts you, bring your food and snacks that you think that you would want. Those are a few of the things that we should pack. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the little tips and tricks. Hit like and subscribe, and hopefully you know, we'll see you again later. We'll be coming back with more tips and tricks on all this stuff. And share this if there's anyone that you know that's going through it and having that same question on what to pack. These are just a few things. If there's anything I left out, please let me know below, and also let me know when you had your transplant and, you know, where you're from. Thanks, guys.